All right, on the home front, not only did you have Rosie the Riveter, just hundreds of thousands of women entering the workforce, you had the government was very concerned about the supplies that were being produced. And so they instituted something called rationing. Now, what was going on was many people were making really quite a bit of money. We were just coming out of the Great Depression of the 1930s. And these wartime jobs, they really did pay very well. Now, you've got the soldiers, they're off fighting. Of course, they're getting paid, not a lot, but they're getting paid for what they're doing. And then you have people back home who weren't working before, but now they are working, so they have a paycheck. So really, families were making quite a bit of money, much more money than they had had in the previous years. A concern the government would have is that people would then go out and start chasing all these products with the money that they had, and that would cause prices to rise. The concern was, hey, let's not have inflation. We don't want to be dealing with inflation while we're fighting a war in Asia and a war in Europe. So the government began rationing or limiting what an individual could purchase. Now, this included all kinds of items. It wasn't just food, though that was part of it. It starts off with tires. A lot of our supply for rubber had been cut off or severely reduced during the war. The Army did not want to run out of tires that they needed for all of their equipment. And a really good way of reducing how many tires you could buy was reducing how much you could drive. So gas was also rationed as well. Sugar was rationed. It was very common for families to run out of sugar. And can you imagine today running out of sugar? Oh my goodness, we'd be in a world of hurt. Almost everything we eat anymore from the store has some kind of sugar in it. Meat was also rationed. It was difficult to get as much meat as you would like. And dairy products like butter and cheese, those were also rationed as well too. And clothing, it wasn't like you could go out and buy as many outfits as you wanted. So clothing was rationed as well as shoes were rationed. So it was many of the consumer products that normally would be purchased were families and individuals were limited to how much that they could purchase. Now, to help deal with some of this, the government encouraged people to plant victory gardens. Now, this had been done in World War I, but it was very huge in World War II. Americans were encouraged to grow their own vegetables and to grow their own fruit as well too. And by 1945, 20 million victory gardens were planted and they were producing food. What that amounts to is about 40% of all vegetables that were consumed in 1945, about 40% of those came from these victory gardens or these neighborhood or family gardens.